Hello, hello. Sound check, and video check. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Welcome. Welcome to another Friday, another live stream. I say this like we do this every week, but it's, I try. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Hello, hello, folks. Let's scroll back a little bit. Alex Schwartz, first one here. What's up, Alex? Hey, Alex, what frameworks do you like for testing? We're going to do a bunch of them today. And I found a tool why I wanted to share this with you all, because this tool looks pretty nice. And this tool seems to do a good job of automating testing and getting the performance data from JavaScript frameworks. And it compares them to even vanilla JS. So we'll take a look at that. All right. Hello, Ayush. Hello, Pankaj. Han. Hi, how are you? Godfred. Adith. All right. Nice. We got a nice group of folks here. So let's go over what I want to do today with you to show you today. So this is what I found, and this is pretty much what we're going to be doing today. Let me go over here to this screen right here. I am on my M1 Max MacBook Pro, which is the machine I pretty much use for daily driving right now. Yeah, it's not the Mac Studio. Haven't switched over to that completely yet, but even though I haven't switched over to it, I did manage to drop a heavy weight from my microphone onto it today, just before the stream, and now there is a dent in it. So that, I'm always proud of my machines and how I keep them pristine condition. So when I go to sell them, I keep them in original box. Everybody's happy to receive them from me. Now, not so much. This is a brand new Mac Studio, and now it has a nice dent in it. Not nice. Yes, Brandon, it gives it character, but I don't know if that's a good selling point there. Selling one Mac Studio with character. Anybody want to buy it? All right, I haven't switched over to it completely yet, but I'm hoping to do that soon. So let's go into what we're doing today. Check out this this repository from Stefan Kraus. Looks like he's keeping it up to date. 8 minutes ago was the last commit. Pretty nice. And this is an insane repository. I don't know if any of you have seen this thing before, but let me show you exactly what he's testing here, and we're going to run this. So this is a simple benchmark for JavaScript frameworks. In other words, not real world example, but we're going to do to-do lists. So if you remember on my channel, I've tested speedometer. Well, this takes it up a few levels from speedometer. It's pretty insane. So it does all these tests, like creating 1,000 rows, appending 1,000 rows, 10,000, updating every 10th row, swapping rows, and so on. And it does this many times in a row. Here's the exact list of all the different things it does. It does some measurements. And then, for those of you that are in a big hurry today and just want to take this down, go to this repo, go to the official results, and you'll be able to see the results for all the different frameworks and Chrome and so on. Here is the result table for Chrome, for example, Chrome 102. Check it out. Isn't that insane? Look at all the different frameworks. right? So this is 95% plus minus 95% confidence interval. These are keyed results, and then he's got memory allocation results and non-keyed results. Usually frameworks like Angular, React, and Vue, those are keyed frameworks. So we're going to be doing this test. So you can see that Vanilla.js is the fastest, of course. Everything is pretty green. And then there's things I've never even heard of, like Xania, Mikado. What is that? Don't know. I've heard of Solid. That's something new. Haven't tried it yet, but it looks really promising. And look at that. It's pretty darn close to Vanilla.js as far as all these speeds go. So that's pretty incredible. Now, these speeds, I don't know. I think he's testing this on a different kind of machine. He's not testing this. These results are not tested on a M1 Apple Silicon machine. Here we go. i7, 8th generation on Linux. So this is what he's running. Razor Blade 15 Advanced. So we can also do a comparison how that machine does against the one that I'm on right now, or the Mac Studio. But since JavaScript is a single core, single threaded operation, most of these will just be the same or close to the same on the M1 Max as the M1 Ultra, which would be my guess. All right. So yeah, if you want to jump over to some of the other frameworks that are pretty popular before we do this, there's Preact. We've got, getting into the red now and the orange, we've got React. And there's React right there. Angular.js is there, even worse. Knockout. Knockout was one of my favorite things to use back in 2011. And Blazor is way down here. That's a shame. But Blazor is kind of new. I don't see Angular. Where's Angular? I must have passed it. Here it is. Angular 13 is right there. So, wait a minute. This is saying that Angular 13 is actually a little bit faster than React? We might have to do our own test. Hey Frank. Hey Ken. Welcome, welcome. Ken says there's no community edition of CLion. What's CLion? CLion is one of the frameworks here? I'm not familiar with all these frameworks. I've used some of these, but a lot of these are completely new to me. No idea what they are. What version of Chrome am I on? Let's take a look here. Where's my Chrome version? 101. Okay. So I'm going to have to run this test. Also, take a look at the blog post, if you're interested, from Stefan Kraus, describing this test and all the different methodologies that's used here. Pretty interesting stuff. Okay. So this also goes into how to do the whole thing, which is what we're going to do now. I'm going to clone it. First and foremost, let's go over here. Let me know if you can't see that or if I should make it bigger. I'll just make it bigger. Martin says Vue was in the green. Yeah, I mean, they all have some parts that are going to be fast and some parts that are going to be slow. So it depends on what operation is being performed. All right, now I did already do this earlier. I had a backup of it just in case my internet, well, my internet didn't work, then I don't know what I was thinking. We have a big thunderstorm today, so if I get cut out, don't blame me. We even had a tornado warning. So here I am in the JS framework benchmark. This is what it looks like. So it includes everything you need to get running, including the web drivers. And that is what it uses to actually run. Destrin says, which silicon has this PC? This is the M1 Max. All right, let's look at the instructions because I don't remember how to set this up. So there's over 60 frameworks. Wow. I'm really impressed that this person, Stefan, he manages to keep these updated. That is a feat of its own. Incredible. So we have Node version 16.4.2. Let's double check that. Oh, I need a higher version of Node. Look at that. NVM use 16.14.2. Node version 16.14.2. If you don't know what I just did there, NVM is Node Version Manager. It's a pretty cool little tool. I have a video on that and how to use it with Node. You can just change your version of Node just like that. And let's take a look at NPM version. 8.5, we're good to go. Okay. Downloading the pre-built binaries and starting the server. Okay, so we're not going to build all the frameworks from scratch. We're going to download the binaries. Okay, git checkout. We're going to switch to a new branch. Let's go to that branch. But since I have Chrome 101, that's what I'm going to use. All right, running that command. It's going to do its thing. What's the next step? So we need to download the build zip for that release. Okay, let's go here and let's download it. Chrome 101, there it is. Under assets, build.zip. So I'm going to download this file. And after I download it, unzip the pre-built files in that root directory. Okay, no problem. There's that build.zip file. Unzip build.zip. All right. I think that did it. I hope. Let's see. Yep. We got the source code and we've got the dist. I think that's what we need. So let's continue. You're now ready to start the HTTP server in the background. So I'm going to do that. npm start. Okay. Got the server going. Running the benchmarks. This is pretty good. The steps are pretty easy here. In a new console window, you can now run the benchmark. npm run bench. So this will take some time. Currently about 12 hours on my machine. You guys want to do a 12-hour live stream? I'm gonna just leave it on and go, and you guys can watch it. I'm just kidding. Okay. We're not going to do all these, but what I do want to do is pick some of the ones that I like to use. And then, let's see. So I'm going to actually clear out some of that stuff in that folder because I don't want to run all of them. That's just too much. And I don't want to sit here for 12 hours watching these. So I am going to, by the way, is anybody interested? I'm not sure why Aurelia is in the keyed and the non-keyed versions. Does anybody here use Aurelia? Yeah. I tried it once, but I didn't actually continue using it for some reason or another. It wasn't popular enough. I mean, the concept behind it is great, and the guy that created Aurelia, what was his name? Eisenberg or something like that. He actually worked on the Google's team for Angular, and then he left. So I'm going to actually remove all the stuff in non-keyed. Because I'm not going to run all those. I'm more interested in the keyed ones. And have a look at these and see if there's anything here that catches your fancy, folks. And I'm going to keep the ones that I want. So let me do it this way. I'm going to open up another terminal. And I'm going to create a new folder called selected. These are the ones we're going to run. And I'm going to drop the ones we want in here from here. So I want Angular. I don't care so much about Angular JS. It's way too old, and I don't think people should be using it anymore unless you really need to support it. And if there's any doubts in anybody's mind that it's slower than Angular, then believe me, it's slower than Angular. So don't do it. Let's go with, what else is here? Now Ember, I don't use Ember, but I know a lot of people use Ember. Does anybody want to see Ember tested? Ken says, I was never sure the Aurelia workflow was really an improvement over the regular Vue components. Aurelia was before Vue. So I don't think they tried to improve it. I think his idea was to improve it over Angular. And there was a framework before Aurelia that he created. Does anybody remember that one? I forgot now. Not Amber, Mystery Man. Ember. Frank used to use Ember, or do you still use Ember? And do you care about this? Mike says, yeah, sure, Ember. Okay, we'll include it. Why not? What else is here? Knockout. You know, Knockout, it's an old framework. It might still be out there in the wild. Ken wants to see Blazor. Okay, Blazor was rated pretty low, but we'll include it. Thanks for being a member, by the way, Ken. That's awesome. Appreciate your contributions. Knockout, I don't care so much for Knockout anymore. It was a cool framework. Really loved it, but it's outdated now. And there was some tedious parts about working with it that's been surpassed since that time. That was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. React. There's React. Let's drop that in. I know people are going to be interested in that one. And Vue is on here somewhere. There's Vue. What the heck is U? And what the heck is Xania? I don't know. Anybody heard of these things? And of course, Vanilla.js. We could test it, but that's probably going to be the fastest thing. Let's drop it in. And Solid. Solid is looking pretty good. Frank says we tested Blazor, but it's very buggy. Blazor is so new. of course it's going to have bugs. I actually wrote a client application in Blazor, and I like working with it, especially if you're working with Visual Studio and developing with that. It's really convenient. But yeah, it's so new, it's going to have a bunch of bugs. And every year Blazor is getting better. It's been around for a couple of years now. I just see improvements in it. So I'm hoping it'll be better and better. I can only hope that any of these will be better, right? I'm not hoping death onto any framework. Yep. Oh, Svelte, yes. Thank you, Upside Down Galaxy. Almost forgot Svelte. Any other ones that people see here? What? Sergey says Joitai and Valtio are state management. I guess. I don't know. I've never heard of those. I've never used them. I don't see some other popular state management frameworks on here like NGRX. Where's that? So maybe, do those frameworks, state management frameworks, also their libraries, do they include UI as well? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I have to agree with you, Ken. I want to keep these frameworks like and libraries UI oriented. Basically, anything that's going to be swapping out UI elements in the DOM, that's what I want to test here. State, it's all in JavaScript. That's going to have to be a different test. I'm not sure that that's something I want to test today. Alpine. Okay. Never used Alpine. Anybody else here use Alpine? Mike says include AngularJS. I don't want to bloat our test too much because that might take too long. And I'm pretty sure AngularJS is going to be a lot worse than Angular, so I don't know. Okay, you know what? We'll throw in Angular and let's begin. So, where are the instructions? npm run bench. So we've got this daemon listening in the background, this server, and now we just need to do npm run bench, and that should somehow run our test. Oh, wait. Crap. No. Gotta press Control-C a few more times just to make sure. Okay, so this is selected. I don't want to use selected. I want to change keyed to keyed. Backup. Because I don't want to run all those. And I think that this automatically detects keyed and non-keyed and runs those. So I want to run the ones inside keyed. Okay. So you see that it automatically pops up the browser, it runs through its tests, blah, blah, blah. Now it probably does not help the situation that I have another instance of Chrome running where I'm doing chat and I'm doing live streaming. So we'll just have a glance at this and see how it does. Okay. For some reason it's opening some of the windows in my other, I don't know why it's doing that, but some of them are going over here on this screen. Why does it do that? I don't know. Okay. It's working, folks. I don't know how long this is going to take, but let's take a look at the output here. I just think that this is amazing that this person is keeping us up to date with over 60 frameworks. You know, you gotta be on top of 60 freaking frameworks. I can hardly be on top of one or two to know when they're updated, to integrate the latest versions in with your test. It's just incredible. I don't know if this person gets paid or not, but that's like a full-time job, it seems like to me. Anyway. Welcome new folks. Juan, React 3 fibers there. Is that one of the frameworks? I don't know. React 3 fiber. I've never heard of that. Amon says, let's see. Do you live stream from MacBook now with a MacBook camera? No, I don't. I'm not live streaming from the MacBook. I'm live streaming from this box over here, which is a special box. It's called the ATEM Mini, and it does its own encoding. Andre says, to be fair, the fact that you have other stuff open like Chat Simulator simulates a real scenario. I don't know, not really. It's not a real app. It's still a benchmark, and a benchmark is supposed to run just by itself with nothing else interfering with it. But I'm curious to see the numbers and how they compare with Stefan's own numbers that he runs and publishes to the repo. Alex MC, hi. Welcome folks. Still coming in. You can watch the replay, and I will post the link to this repository in the description of this video. After the video, I'll leave the video up in case you want to take a look at that. Okay, it's doing Angular 13 now. Was that the first one that it ran? Okay, it takes a little bit of time to run all these, huh? Ken says, hey Mike, first time tuning in live here from New Zealand. Welcome. It's like either early or really late over there. Really late, I guess. And Ken says, since the benchmark is basically single core, I have trouble imagining the few other processes running on the laptop are material. Maybe. I don't have that much stuff running. I mostly have just Chrome open. Yeah, I think I only have Chrome open, and I have, well, the ATEM software control. Let's take a look at Activity Monitor, what's going on here. Yeah, I guess there isn't that much stuff going on. It's a beefy machine. But look at this. The fan is actually on. 1500 RPM. Normally the fan is off. So it is experiencing some warmness. Thanks, Upside Down Galaxy. I always forget to do that. Mike says 6 a.m. in New Zealand. Oh, well, I don't know what the YouTube algorithm does. It does weird things at times. Hey Ram, welcome. JavaScript Fridays. Well, today is a JavaScript Friday. It's not always a JavaScript Friday. Nomad says, Alex Ziskind, what do you think about NativeScript in its current state? I think it's doing well, and I think it just keeps improving. It's way better than it was a couple years ago, with the new team taking it over and really whipping it into shape, cleaning things up, and adding a lot of features. So we're still on the Angular test. How long is this going to take? And can I see the results while it's working? By the way, is anybody familiar with this test? Okay, we're on AngularJS now. Carlos says, am I going to make a Flutter 3 test for Apple Silicon? Yeah, probably. If enough people are interested. Okay, we do have some results here. Look at this. And this window keeps popping up in front of me. Yeah, it's writing out these benchmark results as a JSON file, but then it presents it at the very end. It's going to write it to an HTML table so you can review it. I guess if you're impatient, you can start looking in here for some of the numbers. And I wish this window would stop popping up in front of me. Anyway, we'll see. I wonder how many tests are left, because this is taking a while. If we're over here and we still got all these to go, I might just have to terminate it early. But we can also hang out and chat. Why not? Okay. Ken says, is NativeScript something one should use for a new project these days? Yeah, why not? If you need to communicate with a native platform like iOS or Android APIs with JavaScript, NativeScript is great for that. You can you can just do it without a framework, or you can use Angular, Svelte, React, Vue. So I would still recommend NativeScript. Mike Ransby says, do you have a favorite default framework? I will say this. I would go to Angular first. Now, the ergonomics of Angular are not as fun as React. I like writing in React because I like JSX. I think it's really nice, especially with TypeScript. Vue with TypeScript and React with TypeScript are the way to go. But Angular already had TypeScript. Angular was designed with TypeScript. So back before TypeScript was embraced by React and Vue communities, Angular already had it. So that by default already eliminates a whole slew of developer bugs right there. Bugs that can be caught during compilation and even development time without even compilation while your language services are running in your editor or your IDE. And that's why I liked Angular first, is because of TypeScript support. And furthermore, I would still go to Angular first because it gives you all these things out of the box that you would need to basically build a complete application. Anyway, let's see who left after I said that. People are dropping off like flies. Oh, this guy likes Angular. Oh, Frank says, I hate TypeScript. Okay, Frank. Why do you hate TypeScript? Why do you hate anything? I don't know, like, if I would say I hate something. It's useless. Okay. Interesting. You know, for those folks that are not used to, I'm not even going to say it. I think you're not serious, Frank. You're just trolling me. Oh, you know what? I will say this about TypeScript. Something that it's not super easy at all times. In JavaScript, you can just sit down and start writing code. With TypeScript, yes, there is a bit of a setup, and you have to keep yourself disciplined. If you don't want discipline, if you don't want structure, and if you're willing to sacrifice potential bugs, and if you're working on a team, then by all means, use plain old JavaScript. That's cool. If you're working as a lone wolf, which a lot of us are these days, I mean, a lot of consultants, a lot of contractors, maybe we're building by ourselves. And if you feel comfortable in your own code base, you can use JavaScript. But then if you're handing that off to somebody else, forget about it, right? So if you want your job security and if you want to be a code monkey working in the same code base all your life, then you can use JavaScript. But if you have 5 people on a team, if you have 20 people on a team, if you have 100 people on a team, you're going to struggle with plain old JavaScript. Yes, tools are becoming better and better to support plain JavaScript. But with TypeScript, you get that out of the box. And it's still the case. And Frank confirms that he hates discipline. So it makes sense. Ken says, I offer another TypeScript con. It doesn't always integrate well with existing libraries. Integration is not always easy with TypeScript. Yes, you need to write some kind of layer to provide the typings for a different library, right? But the TypeScript tooling provides automatic generation of typings. Why not use that? It doesn't always work smoothly. So there are cases where using TypeScript on an older project or a legacy project is not going to be easy. But once you get it in there, then you're going to be surprised at how much your productivity improves. Camilo Romero says, JavaScript is great for having things done. TypeScript is great if you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. I agree with that second phrase. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. But how are you going to get things done if you've shot yourself in the foot in the first place? You're not going anywhere. At least you can start, but then you're going to get stuck at some point once you've shot yourself in the foot. And especially with JavaScript. JavaScript is a dynamic language where types are a fluid thing. You're going to have weird runtime errors at times that you don't know where the heck they're coming from. Debugging with plain old JavaScript, a large code base, is hard. Sergey says, JS community created 3 good frameworks. Remain to combine them and create best framework. Frameworks are being invented all the time. Like Solid looks pretty solid. That's a new framework, relatively new. I haven't even tried it yet, but the performance charts for Solid are incredible. Casper says, was sold on TS the first time I tried Angular. I think people that have used C# in the past and come from a C# background will probably prefer TypeScript right away, and they'll be sold on it right away because it brings that C sharpness to JavaScript. And you know, it's no coincidence. Anders Hjelsberg invented both languages. There we go. Nomad says, guys, what do you think about 512 versus 1 terabyte MacBook? What test are we on? By the way, folks, while this is running, if anybody wants to see anything else, let's see here. I am curious to see how this runs on the M1 Ultra. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Does anybody think it's going to make a difference? But I do have it over here, so maybe we can do that too. Mike says, in my opinion, the type... Wait, did I miss somebody? I was reading somebody's comment and then I stopped. That was... Oh, Nomad says, guys, what do you think about 512 versus 1 terabyte MacBook? 512 is kind of a small hard drive. Unless... If you're not storing that much stuff, then why not? You know, it's like, what are you using now and are you running out of space? Ken says, in my opinion, if you're going into TypeScript, it's probably better to go with React than Vue. Vue is catching up with TypeScript. They're really into it. Vue 3 has embraced TypeScript all the way. They've rewritten Vue in TypeScript. So they're in it. They love it. Frank says, we do use React plus TypeScript, so I'm forced to use it. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Frank. I know you hate it so much. And Mike says, TypeScript toolchain needs to be mature, more mature when compared to Java. Oh, yeah. If we're talking about maturity, Java is way past its maturity. I'm just kidding. I come from Python, says Han, so TypeScript is scarier. Well, Python, you know, I've gotten into Python the last year, and it's such a pleasure to work with. I never thought I'd say that, but it's really fun. And Python allows typings. You can type Python like you do TypeScript, or you don't have to, which is really cool. So it won't yell at you if you don't type something like TypeScript will. Lucas. Hey, Alex. Hey, Lucas. What's up? Okay, where are we? We are on React, folks. We're getting through it. We've got... Wait, did we already do Blazor? Did anybody see Blazor come up? All right. Slowly getting through it. Alex Schwartz says, does anybody... Oh, that's what you meant. Testing framework. Like doing integration testing or unit testing? Is that what you meant, Alex? Yeah, it looks like that's what you meant. I am embarrassed to say this, but I don't really do much testing of my code. There, I said it. But I do kick myself for it. Pretty much every day, something comes up where I kick myself and I say, I wish I had a testing framework. I'll just write a unit test for this so it doesn't happen again. And I don't. And then I kick myself the next day. So if anybody wants to recommend an awesome testing framework, this is a great chat for that. Please let us know. Phelps says, what do you think about OOP versus functional programming? I come from an OOP background, so it's more comfortable for me to use OOP. But I know that functional has its has some advantages in certain other situations. But I haven't done any projects in pure functional at all in my whole career. I've used functional. JavaScript can do functional. JavaScript can do OOP. But mostly I just tend to lean on OOP and object-oriented programming, for those of you that are not familiar. So that's kind of like my default. So that's what I do. I don't know which one would be better or worse overall in general. I think it depends on the project. Let's see. Nomad says, what about Blazor? Is it mature enough? Blazor's getting there. I like using Blazor. It's fun. I've developed a client application in Blazor. I've developed a couple of courses in Blazor, teaching Blazor. But as far as is it mature enough, I don't think so. I mean, it's mature enough to be running certain things, but I wouldn't reach for it right now, like as my go-to for production. All right, let's see. Oh, Benro says Cypress. A lot of people are saying Cypress. Juan says Cypress. Ken says Cypress. Yeah. Oh, is this thing done? It's still gathering stuff. Okay. It's not done yet. Now we're doing vanilla.js. This should be quick. And then we're going to do Vue, I think, after that. Did it do Svelte already? I hope it's doing these alphabetically, because that means we're close to the end. Wolfel says OOP versus functional is a false dichotomy. You can do functional in OOP. Yeah, especially if you're using a language that allows it, like JavaScript. It's pretty easy. Tech Life Journal says, why don't you donate one Apple MacBook? Well, I have to buy these with my own money. I don't know if you think I'm rich or something, but that's not the case. I buy these, I use them, and then I will sell them. So, yeah. Frank says OOP is best for me. And Patricio says Vi-test for unit testing. I've never heard of that one. Scott says I'll write my unit test tomorrow. Tomorrow is when I write them too. Amon says, after I started programming, I write better code now because of my QA background. Yeah, I bet. But QA is, I think, as a field, I was never a QA engineer, but I think as a field, QA is changing. QA is becoming more automated instead of more manual testing. So a lot of QA engineers are probably trying to learn how to do automated testing to make their life easier, and so they can, I don't know, take a longer lunch break. Drago's asking, Blazor is C# in HTML file like a replacement for JavaScript? Well, Blazor runs on WebAssembly. So yeah, you can completely have reactivity in your Blazor application without JavaScript. You don't need to use JavaScript. But you can integrate with JavaScript using Blazor. So you can communicate with JavaScript in Blazor as well, back and forth. If you need to call a JavaScript function, you can do that. If you need to call into Blazor from JavaScript, you can do that as well. That's what Podtrond answers in a way. Yeah, WASM is WebAssembly. WASM. The Sunrock says, is Dino hard to learn? So Dino is the alternative to Node.js. Can I get rid of this window? Dino.js. Okay, what is Dino? Here we go. Dino is basically a runtime for JavaScript and TypeScript. There you go. It's a modern runtime, and it's already in production. I mean, it's in full release, I believe, since last year or the 1 year before that. It's been a while. I don't know of anybody that's using Dino, but probably people are. A lot of people are still on Node. Okay. Daniel says, Vue is horrible compared to React. I mean, if you're used to something, starting a new thing, and you're not comfortable in it, especially if the code was not written well, it might not be so fun. But it doesn't mean Vue is horrible. Like, I don't think personally Vue is horrible. I think Vue it has its benefits. Stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Okay, interesting. Let's go over here. Okay, somebody's talking about you. What is this you thing? I've never heard of you, and I don't know. I'm gonna sound like an old guy right now. I've never heard of you in my life, and if I have, I don't know where I heard about it. What is you? The first question about you is, what is you? Yeah. Is this like Vue, but you? Okay. Vue is a modern Rust framework for creating multi-threaded front-end web apps using WebAssembly. Wow. Interesting. I'm still not convinced, but I haven't read too much about it. So it's using Rust. Okay. Does anybody use Vue, you here in the chat? And does anybody vouch for it? All right. Nobody knows you, and nobody vouches for it. Okay. That's why we didn't test it. Hey, look, folks, it's done. I hope that we have our results. Let's check it out. So where are the instructions? We did this, we did this, we did that, we did this. Okay, npm run results. Okay, cool. Now, if you want to run the entire test with all the frameworks, all 60 plus of them, that's going to take 12 hours on this guy's machine. I don't know how long it's going to take on the M1 Max, but let's take a look at the results. What's happening here? Should I go to this URL, or is it going to run it for me? Copy. Let's take a look. Ah! No. Okay, we did run Angular, right? We ran Angular 13, I believe. Oh, this is... Okay, you can interact with the test manually here. That's not what I want. I want results. So let's go back and see where the results are. Ah, here it is. So it's on WebDriver TS results, table HTML. Here are our results, folks. Wow. Okay. This is much faster than the numbers he had for his Razer Blade 15 i7 8th generation. It's pretty old. But look at these results. Vanilla.js comes in on top. No surprise. Vue is really fast. Wow. Vue is faster than Svelte? Impressive. I'm impressed. Look at this, folks. You were talking crap about Vue. Look how well it did in the test. That's a big difference right there. It's faster than Svelte, and Svelte claims to be really fast. We should have done Solid too. Crap, didn't include that in the test. Might have to do Solid too. So Angular does pretty well, better than React. Blazor's way down here. Look how terrible Blazor did. So these are keyed results. You can read what this says. Keyed implementations create an association between the domain data and the DOM element by assigning a key. So whenever it changes or swaps out a DOM element, it has a key associated with it. You could see that when you're looking at one of these things and you go to developer tools and you look at a node and it usually has a key in it. This one doesn't for some reason. Bad example. Anyway, we don't need this. Let's compare it to the official results. And here is Vanilla.js on his machine. It's 82 for creating 1,000 rows. Okay, that's the first test. And here are the results here on the M1 Max, 46. So that's like almost 2 times faster. That's pretty good. So here are our results, folks. This is pretty cool. And these are the startup metrics. Again, Vue does almost as well as Vanilla.js. Impressive. And Angular, I thought Angular, you know, even though I like using Angular, and I said that at the beginning of the stream, I actually didn't expect it to do faster than React. But it did. I'm pretty proud of my decision for using Angular. See? You see? I don't want to be that guy. These things probably change like weekly or monthly because, I don't know, React might come out with an implementation or optimization and they'll call it version 18.0.2. Speaking of that, why is it version 18 not here? That's suspicious. That needs to be 18, doesn't it? Isn't React on 18? TechLife says Solid.js is faster than Vue. According to the official results, yes it is. It's right there. So I didn't include Solid for some reason in my tests, but according to the official results, Solid is really, really nice, performance-wise. And Solid is something I actually want to check out. I've already seen some tutorials on Solid, so that's right up there on my list of things to learn next. What's interesting here is in the official results for that GitHub repository, where the heck is Vue? It's back here. What are all these other things that are faster? Well, we've got, I don't know any of these things. We've got Solid and Vanilla.js. Oh, that makes sense. So the only one I didn't run is Solid, and then Vue is the next one. So, okay. Vue is still faster on this list than Angular and React. Cool. Wait, where's Svelte? Svelte is behind Vue. That's consistent with my results. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's see what the chat says. The Sunrock says, I'm familiar neither with Vue nor React. But at first glance, the first looks nicer and more elegant. With both of those libraries, I mean, they're both nice. I like them both, but I've written projects in React, like production projects. I've never written a production project in Vue before. I've done courses on Vue, but never like an actual production project for a client. But I did with React, and React is nice to work with. Vue with TypeScript was fun back in Vue 2, and there was a bit of a confusion. Like, should you use, what were they called? They were like components that were basically classes, class-based components, I think they were called. Or should you just use Vue the way it was written initially, but just with types and class-based components? Anyway, so people that were feeling comfortable with TypeScript and with C# and with object-oriented, they liked the class-based components for Vue, but that was completely abandoned by the Vue team. They don't want to do that. So now Vue just looks like the old Vue, but with types, so it's really nice. It still takes a little getting used to. I think Vue takes a little more getting used to than React. That's just me, but a lot of people say that Vue is easier than React. I don't know what they're talking about. What? Oh, I know why. Because with Vue, if you want to just use Vue with JavaScript, you can just drop a tag in your HTML and start using it. If you want to do it right now, you can just create an HTML file in your editor, drop a link to Vue, and start using Vue in your code right away in your HTML and in your JavaScript. With React, there's a setup step, right? With Angular, there's a setup step. You need to use a CLI and so on. So with Vue, you don't have to. Maybe that's why they say it's easier, but I don't find the code itself easier. Ken says, we're in production with Vue 2, not TypeScript for a couple of years. Ken, what do you think about using Vue 3? Or, okay, let's start with where you are. You're in Vue 2. What do you think about using TypeScript with your Vue 2 project? Would that be something you would you consider doing? And would that improve your, like, I don't know how many people are working on your team either. You don't have to say anything, but I would guess that it would improve things for you. like if you had a larger team. But we're not on the TypeScript conversation anymore. So, all right. Mark says, shouldn't be Blazor faster because of WASM, because of WebAssembly? Well, let's take a look here. These are the official results. Blazor is way down there in the end. And Blazor is not just WebAssembly. Blazor it's a framework written on top of WebAssembly, but it's not pure WebAssembly, so it's going to have overhead. And apparently the amount of overhead it has is a lot, because WASM, actually, I don't know what WASM bindgen is. What is bindgen? I don't know what that is. It's not pure WASM. But WASM is not really a framework, right? WASM is a technology. So WASM bindgen might be a framework that's more performant, according to this chart at least, than Blazor, also using WASM. So Blazor is, as I mentioned before, a work in progress. It's getting better, but it's not performant quite yet. Ken says Vue 3 has something very similar to class-based components. If I go, I mean, I think they don't want that anymore, right? They don't want to use class-based components anymore. Component extends Vue. What version of Vue is this? So this is what a component looks like, a class-based component in Vue. But I don't know if this is Vue 2 or Vue 3. Ah. There was a message at the top. Anybody know? Anyway, I'm under the impression that the Vue community doesn't want to be using class-based components anymore. And they recommend a different approach, the original approach. Oh, the composition API? Yeah, I guess so. I've used it like once, to be honest with you. Well, so that's kind of like what really I wanted to show today, is this project and highlight it and how awesome it is. And we did this test of all these frameworks that people selected, including me. We did miss solid, unfortunately, but maybe we can do a quick solid right now, a quick solid test, just as a last thing that we do, just to see how it compares with the other ones. This shouldn't take long. Now I was just doing one framework, and that's solid, and we'll see how that does. But I think that's probably going to be consistent with the results, the official results, because that's what we've seen so far. Amon says, seems like Svelte is faster than Vue. Vue only passed the first test. Can we check the other tests again? What do you mean by that? Oh, you mean like there's different, like create 1,000 rows is the one that I'm mostly looking at? Yeah, I'm mostly looking at the first test, but I think those are like the way they're organized, the results are organized is an average of the results. And Vue is listed before Svelte as being faster. Come on, Solid. Hey, do me a solid, man. Finish you up. Alright, that was cheesy. I make dad jokes. That's what I do. I make dad jokes all day long. Where's my window? Oh man, this window jumping in front of me is just obnoxious. Ah, here it is. Come on now. Ugh. There's Solid over there. Yeah, I think that this is an average. Oh, what does this compare? Ah, I haven't seen this view before. This is interesting. You can click on the compare button and it'll show you what's significantly faster and significantly slower. And if we take a look at Blazor, probably everything will be green. Oh, there's things slower than Blazor, by the way. For Go and Chew. They keep trying though. Wow, those numbers are huge. It's faster than something else. Create many rows. It's really good at creating many rows. Anyway, we're done here. Let's go to results. WebDriver, TS results. And where's my table.html? Oh, what is this? Where's my solid result? It didn't regenerate it? No, it didn't. Oh, come on. Okay. Here are the results. I don't see creating 1,000 rows. Anyway, I'm going to believe that this is going to be consistent with the results, the official results. So, yeah, let's stick with that. So that's really kind of all I wanted to share with you folks today. Now, let's see. Do you like these kinds of live streams? not just here's the M1, here's the Intel processor, and let's see who's faster, but more like, I don't know, JavaScript frameworks and other things like that. Interesting content. I find it interesting, at least. Thanks. Appreciate that. And thanks for spending your Friday afternoon, evening, whatever, wherever you are in the world. Yeah, it is great to catch you live and interact. Thanks, Mike. First time. And I guess that's it. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk soon. New videos next week. All right. Bye.